We can legislate all we want, but ultimately, power comes from working people, and so we need to give them all the tools that they can have to fight against their bosses, to boss fight. But
All right. Hello, hello. Happy Labor Day weekend, and welcome to Boss Fight, the show bringing worker consciousness to the next level. My name is Stylianos. You also may know me as Scott. You may know me from the podcast I run with my friend Susan called Left on Red, which you can subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts. On this episode of Boss Fight, we're going to be talking to a worker who was fired for attempting to start a union and some folks organizing to right that wrong. After that, we'll be playing a game where all four of us are literally changed together. On the 12th of July, an employee at BACO, or BACO Enterprises in the Bronx, a man named Alex Patterson, was fired for attempting to form a union. BACO Enterprises is a distributor for fasteners, such as nuts and bolts. And we mean huge nuts and bolts. The kind for buildings and bridges. Interesting that a company that supports tons of concretes can't support their own workers. BACO Enterprises is the largest distributor of its kind here in the Northeast. Its biggest competitor is all the way in St. Louis. Mr. Patterson's job was to handle orders and inventory, but when Alex took stock of BACO's handling of their own employees, he found them slacking. Not very New York tough. His firing is especially rough given that, according to Mr. Patterson, many other companies in this industry are unionized, like the aforementioned St. Louis competitor, as are many of BACO's customers mostly consisting of construction unions. The workers at BACO are facing low wages, personal disrespect from management, and healthcare issues. For these reasons and more, an attempt was made to organize the workforce under United Auto Workers Local 259. The day after the company found out about this workers' organizing efforts, Alex was illegally and unjustly fired. We are proud to have Alex Patterson here with us today to talk about his experience. Welcome, Alex. Thank you for joining us today on Boss Fight.
Amazing to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the inaugural episode.
I know.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. So, Alex, how did you get into this line of work? How did you start this job?
Yeah, so I guess, I've done a lot of different sort of kinds of low-wage jobs throughout my career. I, worked in restaurants a lot, worked in construction, worked in a couple of warehouses, including like Amazon and a cardboard factory. And last spring, I'm also a full-time student, so I was sort of desperately looking for work to help, support myself. And I actually got connected through this job through Workforce One, the city agency thing. And yeah, they just set me up with an interview and got hired onto it pretty quickly.
How soon after you started working there did you start organizing?
Yeah, when we formally started organizing, it was late June. So, it wasn't too long after that I was fired.
Yeah, that's a fast timeline.
Yeah.
I see why employers do not want to hire socialists.
Yeah.
Tell me about like the most interesting thing that happened on the floor, or maybe one of the most notable things that made you want to organize over there.
There were, things I saw throughout my time there that it was just like, whoa, like, I know this was not going to be like a glamorous job when I took it, and I'm fine with that. But things I saw, and even towards the end, like some blatantly illegal stuff. For instance, like around one of our time clocks, there was a message that said, if you forget to clock in or out, like you're not going to be paid for that day. That's, just blatantly illegal. Hiring people who were not of age to, handle forklifts and sort of the dangerous equipment that exists in a warehouse like that. As well as like discriminatory hiring, down on Hunts Point, it's a very industrial area. So new migrants or just, people looking for work will come around, and there was a very, I'll say, selective tone to who they would, give an application to.
So you were let go. What happened next?
Yeah, so I think, as you mentioned, on the 11th, I and a couple of my coworkers who were, going to form the organizing committee of the union, got word from upstairs that management and the owner, the owner's son, had found out about, what the plans were. And the very next day, I was handed, my weekly check, and with it, the manager, nice guy. He was sort of a logistics manager, not necessarily a worker manager. Said, and here is, I guess, a parting ways letter. And he's like, I'm just as surprised as you are, because, I was a top performing worker in the warehouse, and they keep data to track that. So I went to, a private place called, someone from UAW, and told them what was happening. They gave me advice to, try to get some concrete evidence that why, this is why they're firing you. Because the paper they handed me, it was a blank, it was, blank box with nothing checked as the reason why they were firing me. Went up to HR, and they were like, oh, I was told if, you come up here asking about this. This came from the very top. When talked to David, the owner's son, played dumb with him a little bit. He told me, we gotta let you go. Times are tough. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, they're just buying new $80,000 machines, hiring new people.
A company can fire a worker for organizing a union, and then they just don't say that. And then you are stuck in this situation where you can do the best that you can and collect evidence, but they can simply lie. And that's what they always do.
Yeah, no, exactly that. I was expecting them to find at least some pretext of a reason, like, you came in late, 3 weeks ago, which, if you're an organizing worker and if you're an organizing socialist, you have to be doing your job by the books, making sure you're there on time, all that. And I was, made sure of that. So then, when I finally called them and said, we know why this is happening. I know that we were organizing a union and that we reached out to the UAW to help, gain representation. Then, the script flipped, and he said, I'm glad I'm firing you. He did that. It was, I would compare it to the Trump after he finds out RBG. It's the first time hearing it. But yeah, then he got very angry, said he was glad he was firing me, said it was, the smartest thing he'd ever done, and, a whole bunch of nonsense, demanded to know who else had signed up. So very flagrant, ULP.
Unfair labor practice.
For those not yet labor code. So then went back. We talked with the reps from UAW 259. We filed our ULP. We then made a plan to go out and let BACO know that this kind of behavior is not acceptable in the Bronx, anywhere in New York City, and that, labor is going to fight back against this kind of union busting.
Yeah. So what did you guys do in order to let them know?
So we held a rally down at the warehouse. This was a couple weeks back, and we had some amazing people turn out. We had people from UAW 259, the Teamsters were there, and some of our great elected representatives, including Representative Ocasio-Cortez, Bronx Borough President Gibson, Brad Lander, and another very special guest who I believe is also in the building.
Yeah. You had a lot of very important, powerful people show up for you.
I know, right? If they're not sweating, they should be.
We had a lot of really important and powerful people show up for Alex, and we've got a video from that rally. Let's load that video.
That a union organizer would be laid off is wrong. And we cannot allow for this to happen because New York City is a union town and it needs to stay a union town. What's disgusting?
Union busting! Yeah, what's disgusting? Union busting!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
We are out here on this hot morning because we are standing with Alex Patterson, letting him know that we have his back.
I'm a proud New Yorker, a proud son of a union family, and a proud democratic socialist, a proud member of the working class of New York. So on July 12th, I was illegally and immorally fired by BACO.
Shame!
On July 11th, we found out that David had found out about our plans to unionize. The very next day, I was given a termination notice.
Shame! Shame on you, Dave! Dave's on his boat.
Yeah, Dave's on his boat.
Rallying in support for Alex is to also rally in support for ourselves, our community, our borough, and our city. We don't accept any companies that exploit their workers and engage in unfair labor practices. It's unacceptable. That's not what this city is about, that's not what the Bronx is about, and that's not what this state is about. UAW, you in the house!
In the house!
Local 259, you in the house!
In the house!
I'm in 2110. I see other 2110 comrades here along with 259. The entire 9A region is standing here, and that is solidarity. That is the thing that we need, not just to win this fight, not just to get Alex's job back, to make him whole again, to win a union here and every workplace, not just in New York City, New York State, but the entire country. But it's how we're going to win the world that we deserve. And solidarity is the force that is going to make that happen.
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
We'll be back.
So you heard it. Alex was illegally and immorally, I'm going to keep using that, fired. That was the August 6th rally. Head outside the BACO facility organized by Alex's coworkers and UAW to protest his unjust termination. In attendance were New York City DSA endorsed and union champion Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and New York State Assemblymember-elect Claire Valdez, along with BACO Enterprise workers, the president and vice president of UAW Local 259, members of UAW and Teamsters, other elected officials, including the city controller Brad Lander, Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, community supporters, and, of course, New York City Democratic Socialists of America members. Claire Valdez, in case you didn't know, is the nominee for the Democratic Party, the Queens State Assembly District 37 in, I would say, like Western Queens, Ridgewood, Long Island City, Woodside. And she just so happens to be here with us today. Welcome, Claire. This one's better. All right, Claire, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Assemblymember-elect.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm going to call you. How hot was it at that rally?
It was so hot. I gotta say, hot labor summer is every summer, and it is just getting hotter, folks. So everyone get ready.
Yeah. Get ready for hot labor summer and hot labor winter and hot labor spring and fall. So, Claire, tell us a little bit about your union membership, your union history.
Yeah, so I'm a member of UAW Local 2110. Really excited that Alex is organizing workers to join the UAW family. I work at Columbia University. I'm a support staff member there. My union was actually organized in the late 70s, mostly by women of color who were fighting for childcare, for pay parity, and against really racist policies at Columbia. So, I very much stand on the shoulders of, women who have been standing on picket lines in 1997, who organized way back in the 70s. And I joined my union in 2018. Really wanted to get involved, had kind of a hard time doing that, ended up joining DSA. And then kind of learned a lot in DSA, brought that back to my union, joined our bargaining committee in 2022, ran for unit chair in the same year, helped organize for Sean Fain and the Members United slate in the same year, and just dove into UAW. And it's the best union.
So you're having a really good time being a union leader and union organizer, And just so you all know, we had to beg Claire to run for office, hands and knees, for about a year and a half, telling Claire, you would be really great, you'd be really great, you'd be really great. And Claire was like, I don't want to do that, I'm having a great time. But then she eventually saw the light and understood that she would, in fact, be really great. So we're so happy. Tell us about your election. You just won the Democratic primary for Assembly District 37, which covers Ridgewood to Long Island City in Queens. What was your election like, and are you going to win in November?
We're going to win in November. Everyone come out and vote anyway.
You still have to vote
still have to vote.
in November if you live in that district.
Big day. This is a really progressive district. It was a district that voted by 30%, I think, to leave it blank. In the primary, the presidential primary, one district that was incredibly receptive to a candidate that was running on ceasefire and on social housing and on taxing the rich. And so I had been doing organizing in the district around taxing the rich and against Eric Adams' austerity budget. And it was a great district to kind of like hear that message, deeply working class as well. And so it was, I don't know, it was like an exciting election. And I feel like we won with a mandate too, to really deliver on those things. And that is a really exciting challenge to be kind of like going into the session, I guess at the beginning of next year.
Yeah, very exciting. Your campaign inspired a lot of people. One day when I was out canvassing, one of my favorite stories, canvassing ever, happened on your campaign. And I knocked on this door, and this older woman answered the door. She may have been in her 80s. And I was looking for someone in her 50s. And she goes, oh, that's my daughter. Sorry, she's not home. But then she goes, oh, but I vote. And I was like, okay, we'll talk to you too. You're not on our list, but every voter's a voter. And an older Polish lady, I wasn't sure exactly what would come to mind for her. And then she said, well, my number one issue is peace. And she started talking about Israel and what was happening in Palestine. And it was so powerful for me to be able to say, Claire Valdez has been showing up at rallies calling for a ceasefire, demanding an end to the weapons. And she said, that is good. And she started talking about her history in Eastern Europe and her desire for peace. And I like to believe that she and her daughters voted for you in June 20-something. I forget the date now. 26th? 25th?
24.
24th?
This year.
Yeah.
Sorry, June 25th.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, no, the year is the 25th. Sorry. I was like, I don't know.
June 2024. Yeah. So let's, so you're about to start in office, hopefully, God willing, in about 6 months, maybe less than that, 5 months. What is something you're really excited to be working on for labor policy when you get started?
Yeah, I think this is a tough question because I think there's so many different pieces of labor legislation that really excite me. I was thinking about, I was talking to a friend earlier today about organizing in DC 37 and around a particular resolution in a particular local. And DC 37 and so many other municipal unions don't really have the right to strike. It's because of the Taylor Law. It is incredibly hard for public sector workers in New York State to go.
What's the Taylor Law?
It's a law, and part of it describes really harsh penalties for labor actions for municipal workers.
In the United States, there's a lot of laws and regulations around essentially labor in general, but specifically public sector unions. So there's, for example, the National Rail Worker Act that also covers, I think, airlines. And so they cover like certain parts of commerce. And here in New York State, we have the Taylor Law that regulates public sector unions, police, teachers, anyone doing like public sector work. So if you're a construction union for a public entity and so on, and they regulate them in like bad ways.
Yeah, and not the whole thing isn't bad. We don't want to like throw the baby out with the bathwater. A lot of it is about recognizing public sector workers' right to right to organize, things like that. But striking is really hard. Any kind of like labor actions is really hard. There are all kinds of like really stiff penalties and punishments for workers who engage in that. I think Emily Gallagher's office has been kind of leading on this to talk to public sector unions about how we can amend this law so that they can have this, incredible power like Cornell workers are able to do, to strike, to withhold their labor, and to fight for the things that they really deserve. And I think that that's something that I'm really excited to work on with with labor, because ultimately, we can legislate all we want, as Alex was describing. We can legislate all we want, but ultimately, power comes from working people, and so we need to give them all the tools that they can have to fight against their bosses, to boss fight. But but it's up to them. They're the ones who have to organize and to use those tools. So as a legislator, I'm here to fight for those things in the legislature, and to support them in all their work. And I think guaranteeing everyone the right to strike would be such a powerful tool, especially for public sector workers and there are a ton in New York City. Obviously, they represent a lot of power and deserve the whole world.
Yeah, guaranteeing them the right to boss fight. That's our slogan. Well, thank you so much, Claire. That is so exciting and kind of the perfect segue. So we talked a little bit about Alex organizing. We're talking a little bit about this legislative angle. And now Claire is raising this really critical understanding that it's up to us, the workers, to do this organizing, to wield this power if we are then supported by socialists in office, like Assemblymember-elect Claire Valdez. And someone who's working on that right now, who's joining us in this very moment, is Daphna Thier, labor education organizer at EWOC, the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee, also known as Workers Organize. Goes on like 1 second too long, but it's so good. Yeah, no, it's so good. Welcome, Daphna. I'm so happy to meet you. So I've met everyone here today. All these interviews are like us performing, like we know everything, but I've never met Daphna before. And so I'm so excited to have you. I'm excited to have you guys too. But I'm so excited to have you and meet you and learn all about what you work on and EWOC and everything exciting, which I guess I also know about. So tell us about EWOC. What is EWOC and what does it do? And it's not those little furry guys on the forest moon of Endor.
Right. Well, thanks for having me. It's lovely to meet you too. EWOC is the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee, and we are one of DSA's, if I do say so, most successful projects. And it's a project that we launched with UE, United Electrical Radio and Machine Workers of America, which is a decidedly left-wing labor union. And it's a project that launched back in the pandemic days, and in order to support workers who wanted to organize at their workplace, whether it was to improve, especially in the early days, it was about improving working conditions in those situations, PPE or working remotely or whatever. And these days, it's increasingly a lot of workers that want to unionize, and that's what we help them do.
I want to spend like a minute gassing up EWOC real quick. So you said it's one of the most successful projects. We work here in DSA. I know some of the best people, and I've met them through EWOC. Shout out. If we had like 1 million viewers, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm shouting their names out. Our 15 viewers? I don't know. How many we got in the chat?
We got 16.
16? You are all going to know the 16 people at EWOC that are really fantastic. Shout out to Sam and Liz and Gershom and Sophie and Jason and Alex and so many. I can't name them all. But the reason I want to mention them is because I feel like every week I find out about a new union that EWOC has helped organize. And like you guys are doing too much to publicize all the time. So I'll get like a random email because I happen to be on the labor list. And it's like, oh, by the way, good news. We won our election at this theater place. Oh, hey, we won our election at the rock climbing gym. Hey, we won our election at the restaurant. And I'm like, oh my God, no one knows that they're winning elections like left and right. Like, holy, I can't say that word, can I? Holy God.
We can swear?
No, you know what? This is PG-13. Thank you. Holy Mother of God. So I'm so excited to hear about everything EWOC. What does a labor educator do at EWOC? Tell me about your very important job.
I'm glad that you say at EWOC because I'm not sure, I think they do different things in different places. But what's unique about EWOC is that and I think that for socialists, maybe it wouldn't be so strange or sound that unique, but in the labor movement right now, it's a little bit unique actually to be training workers directly to be their own organizers, because a lot of labor movement has sort of like leaned heavily on staff, whereas we do what we like to think of as the kind of like worker to worker model, where workers are their own organizers talking to their coworkers and developing leadership skills and building a team, basically, to be a representative democratic body within their workplace, which it's really not that easy to do, right? And some parts of it for some people might be intuitive, but I think a lot of it needs to be trained. So we have trainings every other month, and we also work with people one-on-one to support them. And some of the people that you were, mentioning and shouting out, that's what they do. They work one-on-one, and they run trainings here in New York where they train workers to do that, to talk to each other, to ask questions, to be good listeners, and get at the issues, and then get their coworkers on board with this crazy idea that they're going to maybe fight the boss, which is a little bit of a crazy idea.
But they're going to boss fight.
They're going to boss fight.
Sorry, yeah. We're on that now. Claire started it. You can blame her. I love exactly that theory that you're talking about of like, we're just giving people the tools. They are the ones with the power, and we are figuring that all out together, that we can all be powerful. And so your book, can we show the book to the camera? Very, very, I hate myself for saying this, very demure, very mindful is this cute little book. And where can I get this book, by the way?
Well, you can go to our website. You can also get it from the Haymarket website, Haymarket Books. And you can also sign up for an EWOC training, and if you graduate, you can get it for free.
Ooh.
So that's nice. You can also download it for like 90 cents off the internet, so that you don't, if you're just trying to keep it electronic.
Yeah. 90 cents, that's good. That's awesome. And what are some of the key lessons for workers in this handbook? What do I expect once I read this very demure and mindful worker handbook?
Yes. Well, I mean, the pictures, the illustrations are incredible. So one thing is you'll learn about how pretty, socialists can make things. This is. Can you show it to that camera? Oh yeah. Sorry. Shout out to Down the Street Design, some comrades on the West Coast actually, and. We talk about everything here. Like, we start from the nuts and bolts of like what a union is, what organizing is, because a lot of times people that come to our trainings, organizing isn't they don't know what we mean even. And I've seen like, my desktop is really organized. When we ask them like, what's your experience? That's what they come up with, because who knows what organizing is? So, talking to them about how we're building a community that can really fight for change at the workplace, all the way through how to talk to coworkers, how to build a team, how to develop leadership, how to think about your demands, your tactics and your targets, and what to do when your boss responds negatively. And that's like some of the things here. It seems so small, but it's quite dense.
Enough of the organizer talk. It's time to have some real fun. We're going to play some games. Oh, it got shorter. There we go. That was the right amount. So for this game, the four of us will be doing the most fun thing in the world. We're going to be playing these characters that look like they've been imposed upon. They failed at union organizing.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lose the election. The boss retaliates and maybe blows up a nuclear weapon. This is what the boss wants when they lose the union fight. We're going to be literally virtually chained together, playing a game called Chained Together, and we're going to be climbing a challenging obstacle course. Alex, Claire, Daphna, do you guys have any video game experience?
None.
None.
Basically none.
Like never.
Like Tetris. Actually, so.
What console did you play Tetris
I
on?
guess Game Boy.
Okay.
So, like this one, yeah.
Okay. Nice, Alex.
I do game, but nothing of this ilk. I'm more of like a 2K and Madden and Call
Wow.
of Duty type person.
Yeah, I've been
So-
playing Call of Duty. I have gotten back into Call of Duty like just this last week because it went on Game Pass, and I've never heard so many slurs.
Oh, yeah, I don't do the chat with like I don't need to hear 14-year-olds
There's none of that
calling me.
technically.
Yeah. You know, the competitive Tetris scene. Yeah. Yes. So let's pass out these controllers. Which one is supposed to be mine? I don't know. Doesn't matter. All right. So let's pass these down.
Thank you.
All right.
What console is this?
Xbox 360. Oh, right.
So I'm gonna move my table a little bit so I can see our
That's me.
characters. Oh, you didn't let us choose the people?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
You can move your controller.
All right. So I'm the green guy.
Am I the purple person?
Use the
Okay.
left thumbstick.
I'm bottom right screen.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm blue.
How do I turn around?
All right. So you use the left thumbstick to move and the right thumbstick to look around.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
I think we want to go. I think we want to go this way. Yeah, nice.
Right.
Oh, look at that. We're already moving
Yeah.
together.
Right.
What do you guys
right.
think happened?
Oh, I'm ready.
Something. Do I need to jump? Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
Do you want to escape the
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Oh, we're in hell.
Oh,
Oh, of course we're in hell. You know?
if we win, we escape capture.
Yeah, that's my, Sean Payne's very famous speech about who can go to hell.
Alright, my controller has stopped working.
Okay.
Alright, yeah, my thing's messed up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
All
not
right.
working.
All right, gang. We're
I felt like we needed you.
yeah. We don't. I don't know.
We don't
So,
know where we're going.
When one of your workers
We might have to reset as a 3-player.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
okay.
So when one of your
Can we just
coworkers
can we not
is
just
like
drag-
reactionary,
Yeah.
Stylianos along.
See, that's the thing. You can't drag them along
Yeah.
because they're actively disorganized.
Yeah, very disorganized
So you
behavior.
need to
Yeah.
find a way to deal with this person.
Yeah, you can't force.
Not demure.
A member.
Not mindful.
Start.
Start. Button next to the big one. Okay.
Okay.
To be honest, I think I'm actively disorganized in this.
I mean, yeah, I'm.
No, you guys just haven't been radicalized yet.
Oh, right.
We're building your class consciousness by teaching you how to use the controller.
Right.
And once you have the class consciousness to use the controller, you can free yourselves from hell.
You know,
Yeah.
workers just aren't used to controlling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just jumped.
That's me.
Oh.
I
Go
jumped.
around, go around. There you are.
Here I am.
Go.
All right.
Alright, okay.
All right. Let's run to
Why are there
destination.
birds in hell? Alright, you guys have to
Oh, wait,
stand
we
on the
stay
bird
together.
cage. You have to stand on the bird cage thing that you just passed.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Behind you guys.
we have to go back?
Yeah, turn around. You
Wait, what breed
love
cage?
this ass view. You wanna who on the boss?
I don't know how to turn.
Use the right
The
thumbstick.
right thumbstick.
This one.
Yeah, just kind of like yeah.
Yeah, rotate the
No,
camera.
no, but like, how do I turn my actual
And
guy?
now,
Yeah.
now it'll turn. Okay, we're all going to the bird cage.
You're gonna have to drag. You're gonna have to drag me. I'm
Yeah.
out.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah. So even with a difficult coworker, you can lift them up with enough determination.
No. Like it's on, but no.
Yeah. And now you're in the underworld.
Oh, God.
So you've won your union election, and now you have to
Alright,
fight for
where
your contract.
I'm getting dragged back.
Hey.
There we go. Okay.
No!
Whoa. Okay. All right, Alex, are you up here?
Raise on us again.
The funniest part is when they're doing this, they have this
Okay.
like they're so sad. It's like they're like.
One more time. It might mess it up again. It probably
Okay,
will.
we're back again.
It will.
Like 10 seconds, we'll be okay. And then
Oh,
Sorry.
no.
How do I get up?
Alex, save us.
hold A to drive.
Oh, you can hold A to drag?
A is jump.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
I really thought they were going to be like,
Man, is it still busted?
Yeah, it's busted again.
you have to move your camera.
How do we get it back down? Oh, it's already back down here.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
What else?
You have to move your camera around a lot.
Okay, someone.
I'm purple. I'm
You're
like the purple lady.
Are you moving
Stop
on
moving.
purpose?
No, it's still drifting, but I can like control it now,
Oh, you're
so-
fighting the drift.
Yeah,
Like we're zombies.
fighting the right word drift.
So you
Okay.
guys.
No!
Okay.
Okay.
Here we are.
All right.
So,
Now
1, 2, 3.
Turn the camera to
All right.
look in the direction you
Okay,
want
are
it
you-
It's really
to.
confusing. I think I keep looking at the wrong.
You're in the bottom left.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, ready?
Whoa, I can't.
Turn your
I can't.
camera.
I gotta see.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
oh, you made it.
Oh my
Nice.
god. Okay.
Oh.
I'm just like, don't be the weak link.
I am the weak. I'm the weak link. Don't worry.
Okay. Who needs
There,
to?
you're doing the
Who
best.
needs
But
to
I
go
don't know
first?
how do I turn around.
Use this stick.
Oh yeah. Let's wait until
Yeah, get me in the right direction.
get everyone on the same page.
Sorry.
Needs a little grounding.
There you go.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to turn it again. Alex, you're like fighting.
I know. It's gonna be difficult when
Okay.
the platforms get smaller.
All
right.
Smaller.
I'm assuming so.
Like see. Okay.
All right.
Now you guys have to jump to the other one.
Yeah.
You have to jump at the same time.
Oh no! too much jump.
Was it drag?
Pull me up.
How do we pull you up?
Try B. Hold
B.
B.
Oh no shit. Which one's B? No.
Trying to grab onto something. No!
Okay, turn around.
I'm sweating so much.
Well, that wraps up our very, very painful trip to hell. Next time you tune in on Boss Fight, our controllers will be working, and we're going to be playing the sweatiest match of Call of Duty. I would beat everyone in New York City DSA, hands down. I don't think there's a single person that's better than me in this chapter. Maybe there's like 3. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you're going to join us on our next episode and every single one after that. Yeah, if you liked watching us unplug a controller 20 times, you have no idea what's in store. Huge thanks to our guests, Alex Patterson, Assemblymember-elect Claire Valdez, and Daphna Thier from EWOC. And to our amazing crew here at DSATV. If you'd like to contribute to Boss Fight with your own story, or as a volunteer, or in whatever other capacity, you can reach out at dsatv.nyc@gmail.com. You can click the links in the pinned comment.
No, you can't. There are no.
You can't click any links in because there's no pinned comment. But what you can do is check out socialists.nyc/join if you haven't already to become a DSA member. You can do that, and then you can show up to an office in the Lower East Side and spend 4 hours of your Saturday afternoon doing this. It's so much fun.
It was a fun time.
It was such a fun time. I'm not even doing this. This is like insanely, strangely fun. That is our show. Don't forget, if workers stick together, we can beat any boss except for a malfunctioning controller. Good night, everybody. Because it's like in a video game, you at the end of the level there's a boss fight, and then in the workplace you fight the boss. Wow!
Wow. You just let us know that now.